Let's get all sorted. I'm James.
Okay, and then there was this full-size R2-D2 and like a floating castle and this whole steampunk section, right? With
Hey, Jeff, do you want to talk about BrickCon 2015?
yeah.
This episode, we're going to be talking about your trip to BrickCon 2015. So there'll be pictures and all kinds of stuff at the BreakingDads.com website.
BreakingDads.com?
BreakingDads.com. And in the next couple of weeks, we're going to edit all of the vast amount of goodies you brought. The hundreds of photos and the video and interviews with a lot of builders. It's exciting and daunting. So look for it in the next couple of weeks. But for today, I think I just wanted to sit down and debrief with you and hear about your trip to BrickCon.
So I can stop hyperventilating and yes.
I was getting your texts and you were excited and road crazy from all the driving you did.
Yes, I think part of me is a little frustrated that gas is cheaper than hotel rooms.
Yeah.
Because it was 10 hours of driving and 4 border crossings in 2 days.
Yeah. They've got you on file.
Yes,
you're flagged.
And I spent all my money the first day. So when I came back the second day and said I didn't buy anything, the guy looked at me like, "No, for reals.
Yeah.
What do you mean you went down there and didn't buy anything?" And I'm like, I didn't have any money. It was already gone.
Let go.
Yeah. But I wanted to spend more.
I can imagine. So BrickCon 2015, for people who don't know what BrickCon is, if they live on the East Coast or somewhere else in the world, tell us a little bit about it.
Well, it started as Northwest BrickCon in 2000.
2001?
2002. It was after the millennium.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Northwest BrickCon is very descriptive.
Yes, because it was in the North and the West, and it was a brick convention.
And it's always been in Seattle.
Yes.
And it's always going to be in Seattle. I think they've made it very clear.
And it's grown from the couple of thousand people they had then to I think they were expecting around 13,000 plus, maybe 15,000 this year.
So it's grown every year.
And it's a lot of people in a fair sized convention hall, but it's as big as they can get down there. It's one of the biggest brick shows in North America.
Oh, it's a nice space. Like the photos you showed me of the hall. It doesn't seem like often convention halls look a little drab and enclosed, and it's quite a nice space they hold it in.
Yeah, it shows off. I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't look around the room much.
No, you're looking down.
I was a little focused on the tables. Yeah. The staff was very nice. It was a really easy show to do in terms of walking around. They do a good job putting the tables far enough apart that you can walk down open hallways without running into people. But gathering around the table is where the jostling starts. I never felt more Canadian than I did at that show, as I said sorry a lot with a lot of bumping. Oh, sorry. So that's fun.
So when you say a show to do, you mean a show to attend?
Yeah.
Because I imagine that must be a nightmare to put on.
I think
a lot of stuff.
The group that puts it on, the show has grown a lot over the years. And yes, I can see there was definitely a lot of stress, and it's like herding cats for sure.
Yeah.
But that being said, the staff at the convention center, fantastic. And all the people involved, really nice, very easy to deal with, which was fun. It was the first ever thing I've covered as a member of the press.
Right.
So that was nice.
Yeah, you're official.
Yes. And there was no better feeling than when I'd go out for lunch and come back and was able to walk by the entire lineup of people waiting to pay to get in and be like, I've got a pass, I've got a badge.
Press coming through.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, this is why people refer to the press as elitists, because we are.
Kind of do.
Yeah, it turns out we're better than those normies in line over there. Is that fair to say?
So overall, you're saying that Lego fans are not a bunch of vengeful, hate-filled people.
Yes, it turns out, which is nice.
Wow, surprising.
Weird, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine that must be a really lovely crowd. I mean, all ages, very inclusive, and probably nobody noticing, like you said, bumping in. It's nobody notices anything else because everyone is so focused on just the loveliness of the builds.
It was very fun to see just the number of kids with their mouth wide open and staring and pointing at something like just blown away that never conceived of something
that was not
like
in the
that.
realm of possibilities before.
And then they go to another table and see something completely different made out of the same material.
Huh.
And it's really nice. It shows that Lego is exactly what you put into it. It can be anything you want it to be. So that was very exciting.
It's everything from the pictures you show me. It's everything from your mechanical stuff, like your ball sorters.
Yep.
What do you call those things?
Great ball contraptions.
Great ball contraptions.
GBC.
We got to do a whole GBC episode.
I think we will.
They're magnificent.
Yeah.
But then, Lego art, which reminds me of old typewriter art. It has that same kind of interesting, lo-fi aesthetic.
See, the thing is, because everyone's seen the basic mosaics that are out there, and they vary in size and I guess fidelity, I'm going to call them, in terms of. But there was Lego. There was art that was better than I thought possible from mosaic type.
Yeah.
And then other ways of using the bricks, and even there was a weird Bionicle based thing that was there. There was a lot of it was more variety than even I'd seen online in terms of art.
The sculpture based kind of art and
so it was
everything from 2D to 3D to
and just different materials and colors, and it's there's people digging deep into the Lego bag to come up with some of these things.
I think one of the most impressive thing you showed me was the little replica version of the con itself. From past years.
This was not a thing I'd heard talk of from other ones, but yes, Micro BrickCon is part of BrickCon, and they've got their own table, and
it's magnificent.
It's phenomenal. Yeah, it's basically micro builds on tables designed to look like the tables at the con, complete with roped off areas and all the public and mini land scale walking around looking at the displays. And there were references to older displays that had been at the show in years past, and it's like a micro build of Alice Finch's Hogwarts, which is just one of the amazing,
it's incredible.
Yeah, it was.
It's like some kind of expressionist painting where just in a couple of strokes they capture the essence of the whole build. And you're just looking at it going like, how did they distill that down to like a couple dozen bricks?
I spent a lot of time at that table taking pictures and
just
wondering
at it. Yeah.
And I took pictures of it both days because I'm like, no, I need some nice pictures.
You just feel
of
like
this.
you're missing stuff.
Yeah, and even it's funny because the second day I'm like, oh, I didn't see that before, and then even when we were just looking at the pictures,
you were noticing.
I'm like, oh, I never even saw that
in the background. There it is.
So it's So and then you've got that, and then on the next table over, you've got these giant, super detailed builds that are 32 feet long, and it's amazing, just the level that you can do things at with little pieces of ABS plastic.
Yeah, from whole universes down to these weird
also whole universes.
Yeah.
But distilled down to their bare essence. It is. I think a lot of people involved in Lego don't consider it art, but it is. And just like art, and there's different techniques for sculpture and for painting, there is in the Lego world as well. And that was
that's eye-opening when you see the variety of approaches that people take, like everything from the very abstract approach down to that almost hyper realistic naturalistic landscapes and things that people are building in 3D. It just shows how many, the way that the possibilities that the brick gives people to imagine things is amazing.
And the ability to look at a Lego piece and if you give it to 10 different people, you're going to get 10 different builds out of it. They're all going to see that object as something different,
which you're not going to get that range except at a thing like a con, where it's not just one group or that is putting on a show, but it's like all these groups that are putting on shows together at the same time, and that's magnificent.
And it is it's interesting how the collaboration goes as well, as there are some of the tables were, different people either from the same group or different groups just working in a theme with very small, discrete displays of different things within a larger theme like steampunk. And then other tables were, groups that work together for a year or more on one giant cohesive project that's all connected together. And that you saw that over and over and over again in different places, which was pretty cool. Yeah. So it's, you work together, you work alone, you accomplish different things.
And you come together and show them. And I imagine there must be a lot of friendships and a lot of connections that are made at these events where people...
Yeah, in my interviews, there was a lot of talk of the words family reunion came up a lot. Because these are people that, they connect online all the time.
Right.
And then they come to BrickCon in Seattle, or if they're really lucky, they go to a lot of the different shows, and that's when they're seeing these people in real life. And that's the only time they see these people in real life, because they live very far away from each other. And I thought that was pretty cool.
It seems to have a very similarity to our other podcasts that we do on board games, where that community seems to talk in the same kind of tones about the conventions as being this kind of family reunion where everyone finally gets together if they're lucky and they're not too busy to really catch up. And it goes to show any of these kind of interesting small social communities really have their own dynamics and everything. And it's cool.
Yeah, because it's one thing to talk all the time online with people, but to really connect with them and sit down and share a meal or have a drink or whatever you'd like to do with them in the downtime it's a nice thing. Yeah. So
it puts some of the humanity back into it as well. I guess for some, when you work in isolation a lot with this stuff, it's interesting to get into the crowd and the cross-pollination of ideas must be phenomenal. Well, that's the other thing,
because the other part of BrickCon, there's the public exhibition, which was on the Saturday and Sunday. But the few days before that, they're doing workshops and people are giving presentations. So people are teaching other techniques or they're discussing philosophical ideas or standards to help, the communal builds. So that's an interesting part of the show, which I hope to see another year, if time permitting, hopefully. But yeah, it's nice to see it sort of as a learning experience for even people that have been in the Lego community for years. They can find something new, or they can share their knowledge with other people and sort of help that next generation along.
That's cool.
Yeah,
it'd be fascinating to see the kind of topics that come up.
The other fun thing at the show was, again, if you look at the kids, they had like a build area set up for children.
Right, of course they would.
And it's great because at the beginning of the day, they have these tables that are just completely cleared off. But as the kids build through the day, they display their builds on the table. And we've got a couple pictures of those we'll show as well. And it's again amazing because children, I think, are even more open to accepting the pieces as different ideas, as the things they build, it's not the same finish quality, but the amount of imagination that goes into each of their builds is insane. And just the acceptance of this is what I'm building, and it's just because I can't find the same color, it doesn't matter. It can be a million different colors, and it's just by the end of the day, because so many kids have gone through, there's literally no more space to put anything on the table. But it's very inspiring. It's like, oh yeah, if you want to build, just build. And was
it respectful? Like, are the kids kind of not tearing apart the other builds around them? Or
no, everything on the table stayed on the table. And they did have a pretty good adult. I'm going to say adult. They were teenagers working that section.
With a stick that was, don't touch that.
Yeah, there was a good larger child to smaller child ratio.
Some supervision.
I think I'm old now. If I'm looking at them. Yeah, they were definitely grown up, but younger than me. But no, it was good, and also there was a lot of Lego available to build with. Yeah. And some Duplo, large area of Duplo for the younger kids to build with too, and they came up with some pretty awesome things. So
definitely a thing that you're going to go back to.
Oh yeah, I can't. After I've gone now, I can't see missing a year.
Yeah.
Just ever.
No.
Yeah.
The new stuff, I imagine. Like, how much is new versus how much it gets kind of pulled out of storage, do you think?
It's like the really big things I've seen before at other displays, but they tend to grow. We had the Seattle Lug and Arc Lug did their mouse guard display, which I saw at the Bellingham. I saw part of it,
Right.
but now it's 32 feet, and they've added some extra stuff. And there was a Smurf build that Virtual Lug built and debuted in Chicago at Brick World in Chicago. But they made it bigger as well for this show, and I think that's part of it because once they've got it, they can break it down and store it, and they can take it to the different conventions.
The transport of those things just blows my mind.
It is. You have to be dedicated when you're doing these large things. That being said, those two displays had the biggest crowds around them.
Oh, I imagine.
The whole time.
Yeah.
So it's in a way it's worth it, and I think when you have a lot of members too, it's nice that the cost.
That's true.
You can mitigate a lot of the costs by having more people involved and paying for it, which is nice. So that was very exciting to see those major displays, and I mean it's Lego. You don't glue the pieces together, so nothing is static.
No, yeah.
So I mean,
it's not a finished painting. It's a thing that's going to, like you say, it's going to evolve and grow, and you're going to add on sections.
The downside of that is like the day of setup of the show. A lot of it is repairing damage airlines have done to the different things. So, but I don't know. That adds, part of the
character.
I think it's one of those stress moments that the builders hate and love at the same time.
Yeah,
because it's like, I'm never going to get this rebuilt in time, but I'm building with Lego.
But I've rebuilt it 6 times in the past year or so.
I'll do it this way this time, make it a little better.
It's true, yeah. After they go to that session on certain building techniques, now they're like, oh, hey, I've got a better way to do this now.
There's a lot of sharing with that. So the big displays are crazy. And then the smaller ones, a good chunk of those will be done just for this show and may never be seen again, right? It might go on a shelf somewhere. I think how long a build survives is a factor of how big the collection is of the builder.
Right.
Because if you have a ton of Lego and you don't need those pieces for something you're building now, it'll stay together for a long time.
Yeah.
But if you are trying to do something new and you need that piece, you're going to take it apart because it's Lego.
Which is, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. So, I think that was the longest answer to that question, but I think the easiest way to answer it.
Yeah. So, it's good to hear you'll go back again and hopefully get to take in the rest. 4 days, that's a long time.
Yeah.
That's a good event.
Yes. And I think most people, if you just want to come and look at the show, you can do it in a day.
Right. Depends whether or not you have little people with you, probably.
Yeah. I mean, it's not so massive. It's impossible to see everything. I feel like I didn't see everything, but when you're taking photos and interviewing people and moving around, it's a little bit different.
It goes by quick.
Yeah. I only thought I was going to go for one day.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I gotta go back. I need to talk to more people. I need to see some things I didn't see. So if you just want to go and look, you can do it in a day, no problem. And Seattle's not a bad place to be in October.
No,
either. It was like everyone was in t-shirts, people wearing shorts in there. It was a really, really good time to be in Seattle. That's for sure. And it's right downtown, so you're right by everything else. So if you want to make a day or a weekend of it, it's. I recommend it highly.
Yeah, it's a nice trip.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to going through. I've just glimpsed at all of what you brought back and went awesome. And oh my goodness, it's so much to go through. But I think we've figured out we've got a bunch of interviews that we're going to try to put together for the next couple of episodes. We'll see how it goes.
Depends on how it all comes together.
So no promises on anything, but we're going to do our best to get it all up and out there as soon as possible, because you got some good stuff. I'm excited to hear it myself and for everyone else to hear it. It
turned out pretty nice, I think, as well. So again, it's nice when you're dealing with Lego people. it was pretty easy to talk to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was fun. I'm looking forward to everyone else hearing that as well.
Cool. And also the all the video footage you got, we've got to figure out exactly how we're going to put all that together and get that up. And again, we'll post any links or anything at breakingdads.com, and be sure to check it out and keep your eye on it. As well, they can follow you on Twitter.
I am at Still Sorting.
And I'm losing my voice. Excuse me.
And it's good. And I'm very happy that BrickCon doesn't happen until April.
Exactly.
So
you've got some time to breathe and
got
recover.
some time. Exactly.
Yeah.
And my feet can stop wanting to be cut off.
And replaced.
Yes.
Yes. Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, until next
Let's get to
time.
work.
Yeah. Sounds good. You've been Jeff.
And you're still James.